So, this is about quadratic equations. This is a really fundamental part of mathematics, okay, in general, because it's about solving equations, okay, and quadratic is something that you've just seen at GCSE as well. If you're not comfortable with solving quadratic equations, then you're in for a tough time at able, okay. So the best thing to do is just get as much practice as possible if you feel that you're not fully there yet in terms of how comfortable you are, but you need to be really comfortable with solving these, okay. I'm talking about three methods of solving, okay. So this is what a quadratic equation looks like. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, okay. This is called the power index. It's a power 2 equation. That's why it's called a quadratic. It's the highest power, okay. That's the linear term, x to the power 1. That's the constant. These are called coefficients. Coefficient of x squared, coefficient of b, and then the constant, okay. And before you begin to solve a quadratic, it's best to rearrange the equation you're given so that you've got the right hand side is 0. Okay, so it might be the case you're given a quadratic and you've got something equals either a linear term or quadratic or a number. You want to get everything onto the left hand side to make it equal 0. Okay, here's a simple example of how to solve one, and I'm going to take you through the three methods. Okay, the simplest method to go for usually is factorisation, if you can factorise it. Okay, hopefully you can see how that factorises. X plus 1, x plus 3. Okay, equals 0, and you can check by expanding the brackets again that you get this. That enables you see to just write down the two possible answers, so -1 or -3. Some people prefer to write them in numerical order. That's fine, makes sense. Okay. Some people prefer to write them down in the order in which we solve each individual bracket. So that gives us -1, that gives us -3. I'll leave that choice up to you. Okay, that's the first way of actually solving it. Okay. The second way is completing the square. You thought I was going to say quadratic formula, didn't you? Okay. No, completing the square is what I'll traditionally call the second method of doing it. Okay. So alternative method, completing the square. Okay. So you begin with the x squared plus 4x plus 3, and then complete the square. We get x plus 2 squared, subtract 4 plus 3 equals 0. Did you not quite see what happened there? Well, I've got another video which takes you through completing the square, okay, but I'm not about to explain that in this section. Okay, if you want to see in more depth how to actually do that quickly, look at another video called completing the square, okay. And then if I just tidy that up, so you have x plus 2 squared is equal to, and that's going to be 1, isn't it? Okay, then take the square root of both sides, and in doing so, you must have the positive or negative of 1 when you square root both sides. Okay, and then you have x is equal to, that's going to be either positive 1 subtract 2, which is -1, or it's going to be -1 subtract 2, which is -3. Okay, and then you can see you've got exactly the same answers. Okay, as you should do, because all three methods always end up with the same solutions to the equation. Now the next one I'm going to have to just rub off a little bit because I need to have some more space. That's the disadvantage of working the smaller board, okay? So I'm just going to, I'll tell you what, I'll rub this off and I'll rub this one off as well, and I'll just keep that there because that reminds us of what the actual solutions are, okay? And using the quadratic formula then, we have x equals, now can you remember the quadratic formula? I'm not doing a separate video on this because this is simple GCSE work, okay? There it is, okay, wrote it down in case you were asking, okay? It's not a formula that you should get used to looking up. It's a formula you should get used to just remembering, reciting, okay? You should be able to recite the quadratic formula as easy as you might recite your times tables, okay? Again, if that's something that's not coming easy for you, learn it, okay? Learn it. So you have negative b, so it's -4, and then the plus minus symbol there, square root of b squared, so it's 16, subtract 4ac, 4 times 1 times 3, so it's 12, okay, all over 2a, so 2 times 1, there we go. If you're not happy with the speed at which I did that, practice, okay, I'm not doing a video on quadratic equations by formula, okay, practice, because these are the simple basic things, simple basic algebraic steps in working you need to be able to do, okay. But it's just simply substitute numbers into the formula, okay. So we'll have -4 plus minus, and that's going to be √4, isn't it? Okay, so let's just put that in, all over 2, and then that's -4 plus minus, and then that's going to be 2, all over 2, and then -4 plus 2 is -2 divided by 2, it's -1. Or the other one, -4 subtract 2 is -6 divided by 2 is -3. And as you can see, they're the same answers. Okay, so exactly the same. Remember, I said factorising is what you do preferably, okay, because it's for simple one, then you go for factorising because it's much, much quicker, okay. The quadratic formula, okay, it's a last resort really, okay, in this sort of question, okay. Complete the square is preferable, okay. Now, you might not have been that hot on complete the square from when you were doing GCSE, okay, but at A-level maths, you really need to be able to do it, okay. You really need to be able to do it. Anyway, that's a quick reminder of the 3 methods of solving a quadratic equation. Okay.